Sigmund Freud, a pioneer in modern psychology, proposed that human behavior is driven by two main forces. The first thing is the libido, our drive for sexual pleasure. And the other thing is the ego, our desire for importance or recognition. Both are centered around one particular thing: pleasure seeking. Even when we help others, we are satisfying an inner need, consciously or unconsciously. In the end, everything we do is to satisfy ourselves. Now think about this. If you want to make someone truly happy, what's the first step? You need to understand that person deeply. So if we want to satisfy ourselves, we must first understand ourselves. That is where the ancient wisdom of know thyself comes in. Now the big question is, where do we turn for the deepest understanding of life? We have religion, philosophy, and science. Religion often gives us answers, but tells us not to question them. But as human beings, we can think, and we should. There are so many religions in the world, often contradicting each other. Then how do we know which one holds the truth? On the other hand, philosophy. It asks big questions, but rarely provides solid answers. Just theories, interpretations, and more questions. So let's set those aside. Now we have science. Science doesn't ask us to believe blindly. It tests, it observes, and it proves. Science provides powerful tools to understand both the body and the mind through biology, chemistry, physics, and psychology. The matter part. Matter has been deeply studied by quantum physics. Quantum physics reveals something strange. Particles behaving in unpredictable way. Sometimes as particles, sometimes as waves, sometimes as both. This is known as wave-particle duality. Even the brightest scientists admit they don't fully understand why particles behave this way or why reality behaves this way. So there's a gap, even in science. Now, the mind. Modern psychology explains us how we think, feel, and behave. But many of the big questions still remain unanswered. How does the mind first appear in the fetus? Why different people get different experiences during the lifetime? What happened to the mind after death? The most importantly, how can we end our mental suffering completely? Those are not small questions. Now it is clear, even science has its limits. Are we helpless? Here is where it gets interesting. When you observe the direction that science has taken and where it is heading, it aligns shockingly well with another unbelievable teaching. That teaching explains everything that science is still trying to uncover. That teaching is called Abhidhamma. The teacher was the Buddha. Abhidhamma is one part of a threefold body of teachings. Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka. Vinaya Pitaka gives us rules for ethical living and wise conduct. Sutta Pitaka gives us practical teaching for daily life and mindfulness. And Abhidhamma Pitaka goes beyond these two. And it gives ultimate reality and the mind. The teaching of Vinaya Pitaka and Sutta Pitaka based on the teaching of Abhidhamma Pitaka. That is the deepest teaching of Buddhism. Then what is the difference between science and Buddhism? Science relies on something called scientific method, based on testing and observation. How do we observe? Through our five senses. Science assumes our five senses show us reality as it truly is. But what if they don't? This is the point. Buddha discovered our five senses don't show us the reality as it truly is. Instead, it converts reality into a distorted version. What we perceive is not reality itself. It's a filtered illusion. See colors. We see different colors. But in the outside, only electromagnetic frequencies. There are no colors in the outside. The same as the sound. Outside, only vibrations. Inside, we hear sounds, music. In the outside, no music. Now it is clear science helps explain the illusion. Abhidhamma goes beyond that, beyond the senses, beyond the filters, beyond the illusion. When you begin to see things as they truly are, something profound happens. You stop clinging. You stop hating. When there's no attachment and there's no hatred, there's no suffering, no magic, no blind faith, just truth, clearly seen. That's it. To be honest, I know only a little about Abhidhamma. But even that little has transformed my life. As I studied and practiced, I began to feel clearer, freer, and lighter. Not only me. There are hundreds of thousands of people around the world walking this path, living lives filled with clarity and peace. If you too wish to experience such a wonderful life filled with clarity and peace, try Abhidhamma. It worked for me. Even a little can change everything. Tested and trusted. What would have to happen for you to subscribe this channel right now? If something in this video sparked you, even a little, tell a friend and hit the button. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.